And Freeholder Haynes and
Yep,
Prosecutor
sorry.
Wilhelm.
Watch out, okay, Shane. Just stay right there.
Stage, please.
All right, we got him. You got him? Send me a picture from that view.
Gary's here.
Ron.
He's waiting for my news. We just need the prosecutor. He's coming. He's here. He's here. He's just in a county. Hi.
People of Hope, good morning. Good morning to this beautiful day. I'm Steve Willis, co-founder of Hope Sheds Light. Along with my co-founders Ron Rosetto and Arvo Prima, we welcome you to our 6th annual celebration of Hope Walk. It's a celebration of recovery and hope and love, and we're blessed to be with you. We'll begin our celebration with an opening prayer. Let me introduce Pastor Sue Jones of Holy Cross Lutheran Church. Pastor?
Right behind you, Steve. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How many of you were here last year? You are the mighty and the brave. God has shined on us today, right?
Amen.
So thank you for being back. Let us pray. Creator God, your word tells us that for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. We stand before you knowing that on this day we will most likely do all of those things at one time or another, and maybe even more than once. And that together with strength and courage and the power of shared experience, we also bear witness to the world that we will not allow this disease of addiction to have the last word. Help those who continue to struggle and all those who love and struggle with them to know that they are never alone. We especially ask you to bring comfort and peace to those who walk this day in honor of a loved one lost to this life. Grant to all of us your grace and mercy and help us find the path to healing and recovery. With every step we take, let this be a time to honor and celebrate the gift of life, the gift of love, the gift of hope. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. We now have some greetings from elected officials and other dignitaries. Can I please ask for Ben Giovanni, Chief of Staff for Congressman Andy Kim, to join us? Thank you, Ben.
Good morning. On behalf of Congressman Andy Kim, I wish to thank Hope Sheds Light and their community partners for organizing such a wonderful event. Many of you, myself included, are walking with the memory of a loved one deep in their heart today. But let us remember, as we walk with reflection and remembrance, that we also walk in hope. Hope that the journey through addiction doesn't have to be lonely. Hope that whether it is a friend, a loved one, or a neighbor, we can help them with their struggle. And lastly, hope that as a community, we could remove the stigma of addiction and give those afflicted a way home. It is a true honor for our office to be here and taking part in the walk today. And on behalf of Congressman Kim, I'd like to present Hope Sheds Light with a certificate of congressional recognition.
Thank you, Ben, and Congressman Kim, we appreciate it. Let me now introduce Freeholder Ginny Haynes.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Steve. And what a wonderful crowd, and I'm sure it's going to continue growing. We're going to surpass next year. I just really want to personally thank you, and of course on behalf of the Board of Trustees and Freeholders and my fellow freeholder, Gary Quinn, to thank each and every one every one of you for what you're here today. So it means you care. You care about the people that live in Ocean County. You care about the people that live in this country. And it's such a horrible thing that is going on with this opioid epidemic. And with each and every one of us working towards trying to stop this epidemic, to do everything that we possibly can do to make people healthy again, to be there for them, whatever their needs may be, to know that they are loved, that there's programs here for them, and especially with Hope Sheds Life for all that they have done. Thank you, Ronnie, Arvo, and Steve, for just creating this and just being here to do what we possibly can for all the people that are addicted. Thank you all very much, and this is a much better year than last year because I was here in the rain, but we all got here, and I just want, again, thank you again, and on to another great year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ginny. Now I have the privilege of introducing Ocean County Prosecutor Brad Bilheimer. He's like a giant guy.
I want to stand like this. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here on behalf of Hope Sheds Light. It's really a tremendous showing, and I've been able to grow right along with Hope Sheds Light. I remember when Steve and Ron and Arvo started this, and it's grown to such an amazing organization and one of our true community partners. And from a law enforcement perspective, I've said from the very beginning that there's no way to arrest our way out of the opioid epidemic. We have been working very hard, diligently, with our community partners, with the health department, with the support of the freeholders, and with the support of the local police departments to make progress. And we are making progress. And we're making progress because all of you are here, and it's a community effort, and that's what it takes. So I'm so happy to be a part of this. I'm happy to have my family here with me, and I'm eager to walk in the sunshine instead of the rain. So thank you for inviting me, and thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. I'd also like to thank other dignitaries who are here. Ocean County Sheriff Michael Mastronardi, Toms River Police Chief Mitch Little, and Seaside Heights Police Chief Thomas Boyd. We appreciate all of you and all your support over these years. Thank you. On behalf of Hope Sheds Light, thanks so much for being with us today and for your unwavering support of us over the last 6 years. Hope's mission is to raise awareness and educate individuals, families, and the community about the impact of addiction by having the courage to share our personal experiences and by offering strength and wisdom and hope and resources that lead to the long-term recovery of the whole family. We extend our sincere appreciation to this year's Celebration of Hope walk sponsors, wonderful corporate sponsors, and awesome anchor corporate sponsors who are investing in our mission and provide foundational support for Hope throughout the year. We're extremely grateful for the organizations and families and businesses that have hosted fundraisers and events to benefit Hope. Because of you, we continue to grow and expand our services. It's really incredible, I have to say. Because of you, we're better. And our event journal lists the area businesses that have made this day possible. They're amazing organizations, and we ask that you support them as they supported us. The event journal also contains an updated resource guide that can help you find the support when you need it most. But please be sure to call our helpline anytime, 24 hours a day. We're here to serve you. And with us today are over 45 exhibitors, most of whom provide the valuable services listed in our resource guide. So take some time to visit their tables and learn more about their programs. Through community education and outreach, as well as electronic media, Hope continues to spread awareness and provide resources for recovery. Since our inception, our website has close to 202,000 page views. Over 2 million Facebook users have received our message of hope. Nearly 2,000 people have called our toll-free helpline, looking for guidance for a friend or loved one who's suffering from addiction. We've sat down with 540 families to provide individual help. And through community presentations, 9,000 people have received educational support and awareness programs. Since we started our family support meetings in May of 2016, 4,300 people have come through our doors. We have family support meetings every Tuesday night in Toms River, and they're open to anyone that's impacted by addiction, and we want all of you to join us. For those of you who have lost a loved one, we have a grief group that meets every Thursday night. and we host a family support meeting in Red Bank every other Monday evening. All the details are on our website and Facebook page. With the generous investment of the Walter R. Earl Foundation and other Anchor Hope partners, Hope Sheds Light has developed from concept a workplace wellness program focused on addiction and recovery for employees and their families. We've integrated state-of-the-art technology for our 24/7 helpline, which offers chat and text support. We've trained and certified 30 volunteers as recovery coaches to answer the helpline, and they're available for in-person meetings and online support. We've increased our prevention education to parents and youth groups, healthcare providers, and addiction counselors throughout the region. Through panels and town hall meetings, we continue to educate policymakers and inform the public about solutions to the opioid epidemic. And we speak out against stigma at every turn. Hope Sheds Light has joined a consortia of recovery service providers around New Jersey, which enables us to assist 3 times the amount of people in need while spending a fraction of the amount. Over the past 2 years, we've been able to help over 300 people access sober living placements, collectively leveraging over $75,000 in funding. We're good stewards of the donations that we receive and make sure that we remain mission-driven in all of our decisions. It's an incredible blessing for Ron and Arvo and I to see Hope's growth, because it means that more and more individuals and families are being served each day with love and coached toward recovery. This coming year will be particularly exciting as Hope expands and becomes a recovery community center, where along with all that we do now, we'll offer social activities for the recovering individual and their families, like yoga and Tai Chi and meditation, resume writing, skill training and job placement, assistance with social services, and help with pending legal issues. I'm very excited. And with God's grace, our team is growing through the wisdom, love, and extraordinary efforts of our amazing CEO, Pam Capassi, who spearheads the strategic growth of Hope, along with the wonderful and loving efforts of Heather Price, our volunteer coordinator, and Dara Mott, our newly hired recovery specialist. They're here today, and they look forward to meeting and speaking with you. It's the peer-driven shared experience and exchange of ideas that makes Hope Sheds Light so special. Ron and Arvo and I would like to thank and express our gratitude and love to all of our awesome volunteers who have worked so hard all week preparing for today, and for those who have trained with us to work on the helpline and as peer recovery and family coaches. We need to extend a special thank you to Anne-Marie Baker, our resident genius from Design 446, and Laura Crossan and all of their colleagues for their tireless efforts in helping prepare for today and serving families all year to ensure that everyone gets well. We love you. I believe our 50-50 raffle is going around. If it is and you haven't purchased a ticket, please consider doing so to support our cause. We'll draw the winner after our walk is complete later this morning. And our butterfly tree is right in front of us here. The butterfly is important to those of us in recovery because it celebrates life and transformation. So leave a message for someone you love who may be struggling, or someone you love who may now be a beautiful angel. Our journey toward recovery may be difficult, but the transformation at the end is wonderful to see. I'm honored now to introduce our amazing guests, to introduce our first speaker. It's Heather, a wonderful, loving soul, and I'm grateful for her. Heather?
Good morning. Hi, my name is Heather. I'm a person in long-term recovery. For me, that means I haven't had a drink or a drug in 2.5 years. I wanted a chance to speak today because I know it is important for me to share my experience, strength, and hope. And I hope my message reaches someone in the audience who may have similar experiences, so that they know that recovery is real and I am living proof. I'm a local girl. I grew up in Manchester. I started using when I was a teenager. I, of course, didn't think it was a problem at the time. However, for me, I realize now it was the beginning of my addiction journey. I just didn't know that until I was in my early 20s, and I experienced the loss of my father. He passed away due to his alcoholism at the age of 45. I was 23 and a new mom. I had recently moved to California to be with him as he was dying from cirrhosis of the liver. When he passed, I started drinking. At first, I drank for fun, just socially, but eventually I realized I was drinking to cover up all the pain. My attitude and behaviors caused problems in my marriage, and eventually it ended. That's when it really took a turn for the worse. I had 2 young children at the time. I was drinking a lot, and I started taking a lot of pills. I was partying with my uncle when he overdosed and died in my home. I blamed myself for his overdose. After that, I started using heroin. My ex-husband told me he was going to take my boys if I didn't get clean, so I left for New Jersey. I thought if I went back home, things would be okay. In 2009, in New Jersey, I went to my first Narcotics Anonymous meeting. I wish I could say that I had found and stayed in recovery at that point, but my addiction had taken a hold, and I had more lessons to learn. I had about 9 months in the program, and I went back to California to be with my sons. I quickly picked up the old habits, and pretty quickly I was drinking and drugging again. Between 2009 and 2011, I was on and off heroin and drinking a lot. In November 2011, my aunt killed herself under the influence of alcohol. Again, this experience drove me further into my addiction. I was in a very bad relationship at the time, and I got pregnant with my 3rd child. I managed to stop using during my pregnancy, but as soon as I got home, I started drinking again. And it got really bad. I decided that I should take my daughter and go back to New Jersey, again, thinking moving away from California would fix everything. Well, it didn't. It didn't take me long to get into another bad relationship, and I was off and running again. At my lowest point, I was in a car accident with my boyfriend at the time, and my daughter was in the car. I was under the influence when the window blew out on the side of her car seat, and we left the scene and drove off. We didn't get too far before we pulled over. It was 2 days later when I got a message from DCP&P. They were worried about my daughter, and shortly after that, I was told I needed to go to treatment or lose my daughter. While I was in treatment, I received a notice that the state telling me that they were going to take temporary custody of my daughter. I didn't know what all I would need to do to get her back. Thank God for my parents who had the ability to foster her. I just knew I had to do whatever it took. I share all of this with you so you have a brief understanding of me, when I started and where I am on this journey, as well as what my goals are that I still plan to achieve. Losing my daughter to the state was my bottom. I realize now I had lost my 2 boys to addiction, but somehow it took the state getting involved to shake me free. I knew I was at a crossroad, and I'm here to say that I choose the path of recovery. I just took one step on that path and didn't think beyond the moment. In my fellowship, with the support of my sponsor, my friends, I learned that I could not keep running away. Every time I still found me, I learned I had to stop trying to escape me and learn how to embrace me. All of me. I am on this very spiritual journey of self-discovery. I was initially only motivated by the desire to get my daughter back, and I stayed motivated by the desire to be comfortable in my own skin, to learn to heal from my childhood trauma, from the traumas of addiction in my family and the loss of my father, my uncle, and my 2 aunts. I learned to hold myself accountable for my past actions in a way that was forgiving and not berating. I know now that addiction is a disease of the brain and it affects your behavior. I made amends where I could, and I give back to my fellowship and my community. Today, my daughter Madison and my oldest son Nick both live with me in Bayville. My son Zach still resides in California. I am in a loving relationship, and I am a stepmom to his 3 children. I'm an active member of my fellowship, I'm a sister, a daughter, a friend, and an aunt. I was blessed to receive help from Hope Sheds Light while I was working to get my daughter back. I am so incredibly proud to be the volunteer coordinator now. I'm excited to help Hope Sheds Light grow and serve families. I'm looking forward to changing the face of addiction and to let the world see my face of recovery. I just want to thank everybody for having me here. So thank you.
She's so awesome. Now I'd like to introduce Gary, a dear friend and courageous man. Gary, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
All right, good morning. Woo! This is nice when you get out here bright and early. This is how you get recovery, right? Recovery from everything. Listen up, right? Real quick is what I want to hear. I want to hear a shout out for Hope Sheds Light. Yeah, I didn't quite feel that. I need to feel it here. Hold on 1 second, right? We're going to do 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do it. Listen up. Keep in mind. There's people out there right now. There could be somebody 3 blocks from here. A family member that's suffering. A child that's suffering. Somebody who's got some hope but needs a little more. Right? And if we give it a good yell, there's a good chance they might hear us and walk up here. Or walk up to somebody and say, please, get me to the next step. All right? 1, 2, 3. Hope Sheds Light! Yes! That's it. Now, back in 2002, I was drinking oh my gosh, the amount of alcohol I was drinking was absolutely insane. I could not get a grip on it. Every morning when I would wake up, go into the bathroom, and I needed to vomit, seriously, just to start my day. Then I had a drink, then I would purge again. That's how I had to start my day. And I would stand up, and I'd look in the mirror of that bathroom, and I would say to myself, I hate you. I hate everything about you, and people around you hate you. Why don't you do something about it? Yeah. So finally I did. I said, you know what, there's one solution for somebody who's dealing with an active addiction, right? And this is how we think and how I thought, was to die. I'm going to set out and I'm going to kill myself. Oh my God. Woo! When you think like that, you know you've reached a point. Is that my bottom? Yeah, that was my bottom, all right. Okay? Because it was only a few days later after drinking, cooking sherry, Listerine. I was drinking anything in the supermarket, anything in a drug, anything that would get me to where I wanted to be. And I remember this one point, I drank so much alcohol at this moment that I blacked out. And I ended up back in the ER, yet again in the ER. But this time is where the ER took me. The surgeon came in and he says, you're done. He says, I got to put you in a surgery. My intestines had stopped functioning. My intestines had grown to such a level that my stomach was out here. I still suffer with that crap today. But I tell you what, I move on a little bit. I still deal with it. 5 surgeries later, you know what's crazy about surgery though? Because Gary was an alcoholic. What's crazy about surgeries? Woo! The narcotics come. Yes, the narcotics come. And these narcotics, because of 5 major surgeries to rebuild my system, they came hard and they came strong, and they came from any doctor I walked into the office to. It was brilliant. To this day, I still have to wear an ab brace to keep my stuff together. It's kind of crazy. So all of a sudden, I found the new love of my life. Pills. Pills, baby. That's where I was at. Every single day I was at a doctor's office. All of a sudden it got to the point where the doctor said, Gary, we can't give you any more. So now all of a sudden, now what am I doing? I'm actually trying to rewrite prescriptions that have been given to me, putting different dates on them, being chased out of pharmacies. Get out! You can't come in here. What do? I don't know. I was dying inside. The narcotics now had taken a hold of me. It was the new love of my life. I wanted to get them to me. However I could get them, I wanted to get them. I wanted to get them, and I didn't know how to stop. Finally, one day, my wife walks into the house. Let's talk about my wife for a minute. Whew! Boy, do we put our families through hell. We put them through hell. This woman, we have been together since 1983. What is that, coming up on 36 years? How she dealt with an active alcoholic, a man that was allowing devastation for finances within the house. How I was destroying my children. Thank God for this woman who believed in me for some reason. Why she believed in me, I have no idea. I was a pill-popping alcoholic that knew nothing but those two things. Finally, I turned around and I said, all right, it's time to do something. I walked into a behavioral health, and when I walked in there, I decided to do a PHP program. 5 days a week, 9 to 3. Finally, I hit that point where I was starting to come together. Ooh, the relief was starting to come, right? You know, the crazy thing is you lose so much when you're in active addiction. You lose so much, it's scary. But one of the things is today, if I can express a little bit of hope, right? That family, that wife, although she believed in me, she really didn't want anything to do with me. She wanted me gone. You know, I remember one time, it was Mother's Day. I said to her, I got to run out. She said, no, you don't. I said, yeah, I got to run out. I ran out because I wanted to get high. I wanted to drink and I wanted to find pills. I came back, she gave me $20. She said, get the hell out. Don't come back. The struggle is real, right? But the hope is even realer. It truly is, right? So here I am. I got a little bit of time under my belt now. I got a little bit of power on the belt. I got a little bit of strength, right? My family today is probably sitting at home because they couldn't make it here this morning. But they're sitting at home, and if this is live on Facebook, they're sitting at home watching this. And they're looking at Daddy, yeah, Daddy. Oh, no, my kids aren't doing that anymore. My son's 26 and my daughter's 18, so they're really not doing that. But even still, my family loved me. She's been texting me all morning. How's it going? You guys doing it? It's amazing. Look at all these people. There's thousands of people. This is fantastic, right? The greatest thing is about family is you start to begin to learn the love of your kids. I have an 18-year-old daughter. Oh, if anybody has daughters are a different breed, right? But oh my God, she is the most intelligent, articulate, beautiful girl I have ever met in my life. She's amazing. But God bless the man that reaches out to her because she will tear him up. Right? My son is incredible, right? He's another beautiful man. He tours the country. He's an Irish dancer. Yes, I wish I could Irish dance right now. It'd be kind of entertaining, but I can't. But he can. He's an incredible kid. My family, we love the importance of family dinners, right? My other family today, right? I started this job with Integrity House. Those of you who don't know Integrity House has been around since 1968, mainly located in northern New Jersey, Secaucus, Newark. But Toms River has an outpatient program. They also have the Ocean County STAR program, support team for addiction recovery, peer-based case management program. Integrity House is my family. I need Integrity. That's right, Integrity House. I need Integrity House on a daily basis. I can truly say I love my job. Right? I love my job. All right, mate. Thanks. One of the crazy things is, it's like for years, you know, it's like I knew my difficulties that I went through and the trouble I caused to my family. I never personally had devastation in my family life due to addiction until my family lives in England, until I get a call one day from my sister in England a year ago. Found my brother dead of an overdose in England. I was devastated. I was powerless. There was nothing I can do. It was not feasible for me to jump on a plane and assist burying or helping my family out. I had to kind of just go through it. You know? But moving on, right? I have to continue to move on. One of the greatest things is today is my other little family that I'm slowly starting to really build a nice relationship with these families is Hope Sheds Light. These people are absolutely phenomenal. Hope Sheds Light, if I need something, that's where I go. I go to their little group. They are building, they are growing. Look at this, you can see all these people, it's ridiculous. If any organization could put this many people on a boardwalk, it's insane. These people are incredible. I love Hope Sheds Light, Integrity House and Hope Sheds Light and my family, my wife and my 2 kids, and everybody that is connected to me is my family. And today, I know it's cliche, if I can do it, anybody can do it. But you know what? If I can do it, anybody can. And I'm talking about moms and dads and uncles and aunts, and I'm talking about kids and anyone that's suffering 3 or 4 blocks from here or anywhere in this area. You can do it. There's 1,000+ people on this boardwalk. Walk up here now and somebody will guide you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Garrett. He just takes my stuff apart here, doesn't he? I know. All right, let me introduce our final speaker. His name is Rob. He's just an awesome, inspiring dad in recovery who I always love to listen to. Rob?
Thank you very much. I want to thank everybody for being here. What a beautiful, beautiful turnout. What a beautiful day. I'm going to be very brief, and I'm probably not going to have nearly as much energy. But that's okay. That's who I am. And I just want to introduce myself a little bit. I am the father of 2 children who are addicts. I've been dealing with this for about 30 years. So I have a little bit of history. And they became addicts. I say became because they weren't always addicts. You know, they became heroin addicts in their journey. And I'll say they were wonderful children. And I'll say each and every one of your children are wonderful children that are making some bad choices, sometimes some seriously bad choices. But I believe they're wonderful children. Okay, so now, there's a few people here I would like to reach. And I'm going to just try to say a few things that a few people might identify with. If you really love an addict, I might be talking to you. I don't say like, because a lot of times we don't have to like, but we never stop loving. So if you really love an addict, now that's where my speech is going to come from. It's not going to come from the addiction side. It's going to come from the side of somebody who loved an addict for so many years and how I survived. If you've lost your joy and you can't remember the last time you had a real joyful moment because you're so worried about tomorrow that you're losing today, I might be talking to you, and you might be the person I want to touch. And fear. Fear's a big one. Fear's a big one for women. If you're so afraid that you can't, it consumes you. And I think there might be somebody here who knows what I'm talking about. It's the only thing you feel. You feel fear all the time. If that's where you're at, then I might be talking to you. And anger. Anger's a big one for us guys. We might not show it at all, but we keep it inside. And it eats us up inside. And sometimes it comes out sideways, we call it. And our anger will be directed somewhere where it's not intended, but it does come out. And in the meantime, it's eating us up inside. Now, in the past, I was so angry, my teeth used to hurt. That's how angry I was. So if there's anybody here that feels that anger and that stress, I really may be talking to you. And the last thing is codependency. Codependency is something we talk about at Hope Sheds Light. And I learned a lot about it from some very, very smart people. I'm not one of those. I lived it. So that's how I understand what they were talking about. And when I was taught codependency, what I recognized is, if you have to see how someone else is doing to see how you're feeling, you're probably codependent. And it harms us. Also, the consequences that our addicts are suffering from their choices, sometimes we feel them more than they do. And if we're feeling their consequences more than they are, we're suffering from codependency. And the last thing I'll say is, and this happens to a lot of us, if we think if we don't do what we're doing on a daily basis, another person will die, and we're keeping another soul alive, I'm going to tell you something you already know, that's not working. That's not working for you. The hardest thing to do is to let go and let God. That's one of the sayings we have. And there's a way that if you surround yourself with people in recovery, we don't ever ask you to make hard choices. We'll never tell you what to do, and sometimes that's a detriment because we all want somebody to tell us what to do. But we will be there when you decide to make those choices. And that's so important because nobody goes through this alone. Nobody walks this walk alone. So all I want to say is that we're there. I personally will say I'll be there every Tuesday night. There'll be a face there that you'll know and just come up and say hello. And if those few people that are ready to find their recovery on the non-addiction side of this, because there's a lot of casualties on the non-addiction side of this, we're there. And these are some brilliant, brilliant people. Brilliant people. And please take advantage of that. Now, when I started off, I said I had two children, two sons out of my four that suffered from addiction. Well, my one son has his name on the board for the last 6 years. He passed about 15 years ago. And it was devastating for us. And the other son is 42 now, going to be 43 in a couple weeks. My son passed when he was 30. I was in program for about 15 years before he passed. I've been in program for about 15 years since. So what happens is we are allowed to recover. We are allowed to get better. We have permission to have a wonderful life. And if you surround yourself with the right people, you'll get that permission. I just want to close with saying the hardest part in my life right now is watching people suffer from other people using. That's the hardest thing for me right now, is watching people suffer. But the most wonderful thing in my life, and I hope you feel it, is watching recovery. And I see so many people out here that I see every Tuesday night that give me hope and give me strength because they're getting better, regardless of their circumstances. And that keeps me going. That keeps me going. There's so much love. And I just want to thank everybody again. And I probably only said half the things I wanted, but I hope I said what was important to somebody out here. And God bless you. And have a wonderful walk.
To follow up on what Rob said, it's a wonderful thing to know that at any moment we have the freedom, the ability, the power to choose what we do and how we live our lives. We can choose to be a victim or a hero. We're free to choose happiness over sadness, understanding and love over anger and resentment. Our ability to choose is an amazing gift. We don't have to feel helpless. We can choose to fight for change, to improve and grow. We can choose to look at the bright side and find things we're grateful for, things that make us happy and strong. We can choose to do this, even when we're at our lowest point. But if you're like me, you won't be able to change all by yourself. You'll need help from others to effect positive change, and I promise that Hope will be here to help you whenever you ask. Change is a choice. It's also a process, as is life. So we invite all of you to join us each week at Hope so we can live life, explore and enjoy that process of positive change together. I really hope you will. God bless you and thank you for being with us today. We appreciate you very much. Thank you. I'll announce the winning teams when we return from our walk, so please be sure to come back here and celebrate with us. For those of you who aren't walking, please stick around and enjoy our company. And before we start the walk, let's listen to Dory Rachel, an executive board member of Hope Sheds Light, Vice President of Business Development for Discovery Institute, and a beautiful soul who's celebrating 34 years in recovery.
Hi everybody, my name is Dorian. I'm an alcoholic. My father's father died of cirrhosis of the liver. My mother's father was in recovery since 1948. And when he passed, I didn't know anything about recovery. The first day I tried to get sober and attend meetings was in May of 1975. But my sober date is August 15th, 1985. I stand before you a sober woman. I fully agree with all the things that are going on and the systems that need to be changed through Hope Sheds Light. This is a beautiful day. Last year we were knee-deep in water. So I get so nervous when I'm doing this, but God gave me a voice, and I love the anthem of Amazing Grace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sing the first stanza, and then I'm going to sing another chorus, and then I'm going to ask you all to join in, if you will, if you want. And the ladies are going to release butterflies. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. 'Twas far, but now I see. Through dangers, toils and snares, we have already come. 'Twas grace that saved us, saved thus far, and grace will bring us home. Please join. Amazing grace, how sweet thou art, that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Amen, everybody.
All right, people of Hope, all walkers and runners, please You can gather by the starting line, if you will, which is to my left, your right, by the horizon tent. That's the starting line. For all those who will remain here with me, let's enjoy the music and visit with our exhibitors, our vendors. We've got plenty of wonderful activities and entertainment, so please hang around. The walk is a mile down and a mile back. There are refreshments along the way. And remember, please come back because we're going to celebrate the winning teams and see who wins the 50-50. And we'll share in some final refreshments. Now let the walk begin, and God bless you.
There you go. What's your nose or his lip check? Oh, he's fine. Yeah.